Kisharon offers to the community a service that takes you pretty much now from birth right the way through our client's life. So we start off with an integrated nursery, we have a day school, we have a college, we have adult centres, we have a business centre for those that are able to be more supportive to the community. We have a residential home, we have supported living, we have in fact 7 centres. So we are in fact really 7 charities combined into one.
We take every person that comes to us and we help them to achieve their innermost potential, and where possible we try and allow them to strive to reintegrate into the community and to achieve as much from their own personal lives as possible.
Jeremy suffers from a condition called Fragile X syndrome, which is the second commonest cause of retardation after Down syndrome. Because most of these children look normal when they're born, it was hard to come to terms with the fact that at 6 weeks I was told that yes, he has got Fragile X, and even harder to try and work out what the future would be. Jeremy's been this coming up for 4 years since he's been here. It's just, they've brought out sides to him that we never thought that we would see. He's just a lot more confident now. This college is providing the opening and the opportunities for these kids to get on and succeed in whatever they're able to do. And all I can say is thank God for Kisharon.
I've got a son, Yecheskel, 21-year-old. He was born after 6 months pregnancy. He has cerebral palsy, which means one side, the right side of his body, is almost completely useless, and he's got severe learning and physical disabilities. He's been at Kisharon from more or less the beginning, like 2.5 years old. They give everything of themselves to these children. Yecheskel was doing absolutely nothing. He couldn't even sit, he couldn't crawl, he couldn't do anything when we came to Kisharon. He now walks, talks, he's able to feed himself. He's a nice young man, thanks to Kisharon. I really admire them and I'm grateful to them for everything they've done for my son.
My son Yossi, he's been with Kisharon since he was 4.5 years old. We started him off in a mainstream function. They couldn't cope with his special needs, so then we took him to the Kisharon Day School, and Yossi's been very happy in Kisharon ever since. And he gets treated tremendously well. He's treated like royalty there, I have to tell you. We couldn't sort of wish for better than Kisharon. Nothing comes down from heaven which is bad. Everything is for the good. We may not see it there and then, we may not see it for a long time, we may never see it, but it's a fact. Everything happens is for the good, and that's the way we look upon it. That's it. It's the only way you look upon this. The only way is to survive.
Jess had hearing problems, was picked up by the local GP, which proceeded in us having loads and loads and loads of tests. They've just diagnosed the ASD. We looked around and we found Kisharon. She gets up with a smile on her face, so excited to go to school, so excited to do whatever it is the day's got in store for her.
In Kisharon, the facilities are there at whatever point in time they require them, and to have knowledge that she can go on. I'm goes on to the college and then to other centres that deal with life skills, work. It's reassuring, very much so.
Her teacher at the school is wonderful. She's had her really since she started 2.5 years ago. She is the one that has given Jessica the strength and the determination to be who she is. She fills her with confidence, and she makes it so that she can cope during the day and she can do whatever she sets her mind on that she wants to do.
It gives, for me, it gives hope that there is a role for her, not just for our daughter, but for all the children, that they have a contribution to make, and Kisharon is a lifeline.
We started off over in Parsons Street at the college. We had lots of repairs and we progressed to be having our own shop. We've been here about 3 years now. It works really, really well because a lot of the community come to Kisharon to have their bikes repaired, which brings in money for Kisharon, which also Yakov and Levi learn skills with acting with customers and speaking to members of the public.
We sell bikes here, and so customers come here and bring the bikes for repairing, and we also sell bikes, all of rally bikes we sell here, all the big bikes and small bikes for the children as well.
I'm Emma Castleton. I've been involved with the Kisharon organisation now for 3 years. My son Elias has special needs. He's in his first year at Kisharon Day School, and prior to that he was at Tough Kid Nursery. It couldn't have been a more wonderful place for him to start his education, which I guess is why we very seriously looked at Kisharon as the school that we wanted him to go to, and although we looked at many other schools, it was the only place for him. In fact, we moved into the borough of Barnet in order to be able to send him to Kisharon. Having got him there, we know that we did absolutely the right thing. He's happy, he loves it, and there's a love and a very special caring in Kisharon that, again, I haven't seen anywhere else. Which is also why we've chosen to send our very mainstream, very bubbly daughter to Tough Kid as well. It's the best nursery we saw. We could have sent her anywhere. And I looked at all the nurseries and I kept coming back to the fact that actually I thought the best start for her was Tough Kid. So that's where she's going. If you are Jewish and you have a child with special needs and you think he's special and complex, don't look any further.
After many years of working, I can certainly say that this is not an ordinary job at all. I actually feel privileged to work at Kisharon. I've never been in a job where after 3 years I'm still emotionally moved by the people I'm working from at Oneg. You see some of the students singing and dancing and the joy they get from that. And it's a wonderful thing to see, and it would be very worrying to think where would these men and women be if it wasn't for Kisharon.
Anybody can have a special needs child, and anybody can, be stuck at home with many other children, and they have nowhere to go. And Kisharon just needs to keep going and keep giving to these kids and adults.
As difficult a time as the individual is having, the families are often having as difficult a time, and it's not just one person who's affected, it's the whole family unit. We want to be there for the family so that they know there is an outlet for any sort of need that they have. The Jewish way of life is not an isolated thing, it happens in communities, and therefore supporting people with special needs within the Jewish community becomes a communal responsibility as well.
We're enabling people to live fulfilled lives where they can achieve everybody at their own level. For some that will mean attaining an extremely basic level of functional communication. But that could be something which will absolutely revolutionise and change their quality of life. The ability to be able to just choose what you have for a meal or indicate when you need help can completely change somebody's quality of life, their sense of themselves and their independence. For other people, what we're doing is giving them a valuable role in the community, and they're doing real, worthwhile, paid work.
Our current budget is over £4.1 million. We are privileged to live in a wonderful country and the government support us, and they give us in fact over £2.7 million, but that still leaves a deficit of £1.4 million that we have to find annually. That is a lot of money, and that's what we need to turn to the community to help us to do.
I love being here, and every time I get stressed out by any particular scenario, I just have to go down into the school and take part in one Friday Orneg where the children are singing to their heart's content. I have to go into any situation and see a teacher delivering one-to-one care to teach some child a basic skill, and I know that every ounce of my energy has been well spent.
I remember one day I went into Kisharon and there was tremendous celebration going on, and I said to the staff at the time, "What's happened?" And they said, "You see that man over there, 21 years old, we've been training him for the past 4 months to try and teach him to put a spoon from a plate into his mouth. Today he did that. That has changed his life. He's now able to feed himself. That is what Kisharon can achieve. But we need your help, and all of us here can help to make that happen for not only him, but many, many, many more in our community that need it."
We couldn't feel a wish for better than Kisharon.
I really admire them, and I'm grateful to them for everything they've done for my son.
And all I can say is thank God for Kisharon.
Kisharon is a lifeline.
If you are Jewish and you have a child with special needs, don't look any further.